Moving Against the System is a book about the Congress of Black Writers, a very important event that took place in Montreal in October 1968. So it's the 50th anniversary of that event this year, this coming October. It could be argued that it was the most important sort of black power, black left, black radical political event, conference/Congress of the post-Second World War period, brought together many of the leading sort of political figures of that moment within the black power, black radical tradition, such as Stokely Carmichael, C.L.R. James, Walter Rodney, James Foreman, Harry Edwards, Richard B. Moore, among others. It occurred at a time when the transition had been made. Well, I say transition from the civil rights to the black power movement, but of course they were simultaneous, and it occurred under the very same year that Martin Luther King was assassinated. So of course it was significant for that reason too. And folks came together to sort of think through the meaning of black power and social transformation in that moment. It's also important to think about that event as not separate from, but part of the conversations and debates around social transformation. Many of the folks that participated were, in addition to thinking through what social change would mean for people of African descent, were also socialists in one form or another, even though many of them would have had their critiques of socialism. It brought together a number of black nationalists also, so there were debates and conversations about the relationship between black nationalism and socialism. So it was an important event for various reasons. Part of what also made it significant was the fact that it brought people from both the Caribbean, Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States. It was also an event that represented a kind of passing of the torch from the older generation, C.L.R. James, to the younger generation, folks like Walter Rodney, Stokely Carmichael, Robert Hill from Jamaica. So it had that kind of significance in various ways, like a kind of coming together of various generations. Now, of course, one of the obvious glaring omissions from the Congress was the fact that there were no women as public speakers during the Congress. Many of them played an active role in organizing the event, were on the organizing committee. There were some women that did manage to sort of make it on the platform, but they were not official speakers. That sort of just happened along the way. So if we think about that then in terms of where we are today, that's obviously something that we would look back and say, well, that was a gaping hole, a profound absence. The book consists of the existing surviving speeches of the Congress of Black Writers. So some of the speakers who participated, their speeches have not survived. So those that have survived are one of the two speeches by C.L.R. James, James Foreman's speech, Stokely Carmichael, Harry Edwards, Richard B. Moore, Walter Rodney. What I try to do in the introduction is fill in the gaps and sort of give an account of who else was present, what kind of role did they play, what was happening contextually in the world at that moment and in the various places where folks came from, whether it be the UK, in Canada, the United States, or in the Caribbean, and to try and sort of reflect on, well, okay, it was a significant event, but what's the significance of that moment for our time? How do we now think about those alternatives in our time in ways that don't bifurcate race, class, gender, etc.? How do we bring those together in ways that allow us to think about human possibilities in our time? And also the question of the possibility of human solidarity.